Biden also unveiling a massive $6 trillion budget last Friday that would keep deficits near record highs, even though the economy is now roaring back. Here to take it up, the Texas Congresswoman and member of the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, Beth Van Duyne. Congresswoman, great to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight. Let's talk about this kind of a spending plan. Look, the Democrats are telling the president, go big, even if it's not bipartisan. We don't care. We want to push this through. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, that's part of the problem is I feel like they're holding transportation, necessary transportation at a time that we're coming out of a pandemic, that we need it to be competitive, that we need it to be globally competitive, that we need it to be able to move our goods and services around. They're using that as a ploy right now to be able to push through, these far left socialist agenda items. When, I mean, they're holding transportation goods and services hostage right now. The dollar amounts that we're putting on that is just not in good faith. It's not sustainable. The spending that we're talking about happening we haven't seen since World War II. I know that we have been very involved from a House perspective. We've actually come up with a bill that was a $400 billion bill that talked about actual infrastructure, not just 6% for roads and bridges, but actual infrastructure and transportation needs. That has gone pretty much avoided and ignored by House Democrats. I know that the Senate has been able to make a little bit more headway, probably because they only have that one vote difference. But I'm hopeful that Capito is going to be able to have some influence at the White House. But I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And I like that you made that point. I just want to underscore it. It's not that the GOP is saying we can't do this. We can't spend anything on this. As a matter of fact, they're allocating billions. They're just trying to bring the tab down a little bit. But I want you to take a listen to this, because this is a soundbite of President Obama essentially taking credit for the economy as it is right now, saying that he set the stage for President Trump. Listen.
Joe Biden and the administration are essentially finishing the job. And I think it'll be an interesting test. 90% of the folks who were there in my administration. They are continuing and building on the policies we talked about, whether it's the Affordable Care Act or our climate change agenda and the Paris Peace Accords.
Congresswoman, your reaction to that, because there were a lot of people who heard that and just were pulling their hair out, saying that President Obama had the best opportunity to bring an economy back because he just inherited it when it hit rock bottom. And President Trump took it at a point where it was harder to add value there, yet he did. And now the whole story, the whole narrative is being rewritten here.
Well, and that's what we see Democrats doing across the board. But absolutely right. Obama had an opportunity. He threw his hands up. He basically said that, well, we're going to have a magic wand, and that doesn't exist. And what you saw was Trump be able to come in, work with businesses, work on trade agreements, work on passing the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, which made that magic wand that apparently didn't exist. Those were the things that made us more globally competitive. Those were the things that gave the tools to small businesses to be able to increase their footprint, to be able to be more successful, that led to higher employment rates than we've ever seen across so many different demographics, that made our economy grow when it had been stagnant under the Obama administration. I don't think if you talk to a vast number of people who were employed during the Trump administration, who had businesses under the Trump administration, the last thing they want to do is go back to the Obama era of stagnant growth and increases in taxes. And I think most business owners. Yep.
If I may, in the last 30 seconds that we have, I want to touch on this point of taxes, because there is a conversation that within the Biden budget, he is going to let the tax cuts that were implemented for lower and middle class Americans expire, which essentially is a tax hike for those folks that he said he wouldn't touch in this.
What we have heard over and over again from Democrats is one thing, and then we've seen another. If they can't exist under their own rules, they'll change them. But yeah, they're promising that they're not going to increase taxes for anybody who makes less than $400,000. But there's no way with all these tax hikes that's anywhere near sustainable. It's not going to happen. He told you exactly what he was going to do during his campaigning, and it's proven to be true. He's going with far leftist ideals, pushing a socialist agenda. It's not sustainable, and every one of us is going to be paying more. We're already doing it. We're doing it at the gas pump. We're doing it at the grocery store lines. We're seeing it everywhere.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing up the point on inflation. It's so interesting. Every time I go to pay for something, I know that I'm feeling it. Congresswoman, it's always great to see you. We appreciate your insight.
Good to see you.